Are you a big-time fan of Bomberman? If you said yes, then check out my review of Explosive Jake coming up next on Mumbles. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Mumbles. On today's episode of Mumbles, I'm bringing you guys a game review of a game called Explosive Jake. Now, before I get into anything about this game, I do have to ask you guys all a huge favor. If you have not already, please do subscribe to the channel, ring the little notification bell, and drop a like on the video. Guys, I'm not going to even say it, but I just want you to know how much I appreciate you guys doing that because it helps the channel grow and it just means so much to me. Thank you so much, guys. Now that we've got that out of the way, let's talk about Explosive Jake. So guys, before we get into anything, I do want to say that I gave this game a 3 out of 10 on our Mumbles review. If you want to know why, stay tuned because I'm about to give you the lowdown. I do want to mention I am reviewing this on the Nintendo Switch. It is also available on the Xbox One, the PlayStation 4, and Steam. Now the price varies depending on the system. I've seen it as low as $1 some places. I've seen it as high as $4. So it does depend on your system. Now guys, I'm going to read you the description word for word of this game. Explosive Jake, classic arcade game. Not only humans afraid of dark and deep dungeons, our hero, a little skeleton with unhealthy crave of explosions, which trying to escape from dangerous castle dungeons, help him to avoid enemies and explode the way out. What do we have here? 40 levels of dynamite, explosion, vile knights, cute skeletons, charming rats, deadly traps, and even more dynamite and explosions. So guys, that is literally word for word what this game reads description-wise. In my own words, guys, this is a Bomberman clone. It is exactly a Bomberman clone. Literally, you go around, you place bombs, you blow things up. That's what happens here. So, if you're intrigued, now let's talk about the graphics, the soundtrack, and the controls. First off, the graphics in this game, they're okay for this game. They are kind of old school, but there's nothing really wrong with them. They are passable for this game. Soundtrack-wise, guys, I do have to be honest, this is gaming elevator music, meaning that it's just music that's there. Plain and simple. Control-wise, again, I'm playing this on the Nintendo Switch, so please do be aware of that. But control-wise for the Nintendo Switch, I found the controls to be a little bit weird, mainly because the X button is tied to the restart, which is a little weird, and I found myself bumping that more than on one occasion. So I do wish they'd mapped the controls a little bit different. Overall, it's a pretty easy game to pick up and learn, so I won't hate on the controls too much. However, I really do wish they'd switch that X button around. Now let's talk about the gameplay. Guys, as I said, this game is literally 40 levels of a Bomberman clone. But unlike Bomberman, where you have different upgrades and things that you can pick up as you go around, this game doesn't really do that until you beat so many levels. So many levels in, you get an upgrade. So many levels in, you get an upgrade. And it does slow the pace of the game down a little bit. As you go through each level, the basic idea is you blow up boxes and enemies, try to find a key, and try to find a door to escape to the next level. That's it. No real spin on this. It is this the entire way through the game. So, that's it for the gameplay, guys. I know it's short and sweet and to the point, but literally, if what you're watching on the screen is what you're going to get 40 levels of. So, just be aware of that. Now we're going to talk about the cons for this game. The first con that I have is that this game is overly simplistic. Guys, I'm a lover of the Bomberman genre. I think that it was a really cool game. I loved it as a kid. I still love it as an adult. But with this game, I feel like they could have made some vast improvements. They could have learned from the Bomberman series. They could have done some things different. And they just really oversimplified it and made it way too simple for my liking. Now, my second con is that the levels kind of blur together. Guys, some levels almost look identical to other levels, which is never a good thing. You always want your levels to stand apart and be standalone levels that can stand on their own. You don't want them to look like other levels. Now, my third con is that this game clearly does not have enough power-ups. Having to go 5 levels and then 5 levels and then 5 levels and not really having much upgrades until the end of the game is a real bummer. One of the great things about Bomberman is you can strategize based on the upgrades that you get, and this game doesn't really have that, so it is very much a bummer. My fourth and final con is that the enemies in this game very much do run on a track. Now, what do I mean by that? They follow the same pattern at all times. This game is not randomly generated, so each level from level 1 to 40 will be the same, and their paths will be the same per level. So obviously each level they do have different paths, but they're always the same path, so you can very much kind of just go for it and figure out which way they're going to go, and then there's not much of a challenge at all, which is very much a bummer. So guys, again, I gave this game a 3 out of 10, and I will explain exactly why. The main reason I gave this game a 3 out of 10 is because it's nothing we haven't seen before, and Bomberman did it better. So, as someone who's played a lot of Bomberman games, I didn't see anything that set it apart from Bomberman. I didn't see anything that made me want to play it over Bomberman. It's a fun game, it's a decent game, it's a decently made game, but it very much is stagnant all the way through. The levels don't really provide anything new and exciting. There's no new and exciting upgrades as you go through it. Once you play the 40 levels, you're done and you're never going to touch it again. So 3 out of 10 for me, guys. I just feel like there's so much more they could have done with a game like this. That's just my opinion though. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. Anyways, guys, this has been another episode of Mumbles. I want to thank you guys all so much for joining me. Please smack that subscribe button, smack the like button, and smack all those buttons. And I will see you guys all in the next video. Bye-bye, everyone. Take care.